Does your troop have a plan on how to get youth leadership to transition into adult leadership? Let's talk about it. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about that transition. Could you imagine if you were in a business where you were asked to mentor and train somebody for 5 or 6 years how to become an incredible leader, and then on their 18th anniversary they quit? That would be bad. And that's kind of what we're getting in scouting. A lot of scouts leave after they turn 18. Their schools and all the other stuff that they might be into become the priority. After 18, they're no longer a youth, and they can easily be transitioned from that youth status of leadership into the adult leadership. And that is a critical asset. We have developed all that training that's going on for that youth. We need to retain some of those youth as adult leaders. This becomes the drain of assets that we have developed through all of the training that goes on in scouting. We've actually have this drain away of all of those great leadership skills. The adult leaders need to constantly be replenished. Over the years, they need to be replenished with new leadership. And you have youth that are just leaving and taking it with them. They can still give back to the unit. They gave them so much. That is the wonderful thing about scouting. It's kind of like paying it forward. And a troop needs an actual plan on how to retain those scouts. Age is a factor when you're dealing with youth. In Scouts BSA, once the youth turns 18, they are no longer a youth, they're an adult. And at that point, that is kind of the end of their scouting advancements and such. At that point, they are considered to be an adult. Now, in a troop, they still have to fill out an adult application and do the youth protection training and get a certificate to put with their application. So young adults are not exempt. Once they turn 18, they have to go through that process. Now, the adult application has to be endorsed and signed by the charter organization rep. That is a requirement for all adult applications. Then it goes through a background check. Now, these safeties are in place for all adults. The next big factor is recruitment. The Scoutmaster's team needs to find scouts that are showing incredible ability for leadership and recruit them and ask them, literally ask them, would you like to become an assistant scoutmaster of this troop? That's a critical step. You have to ask. Being asked is very important. And at that point, that's where the coaching and the mentoring and all of that comes into play. And it's critical that that's set up long before the 18th birthday. So in that, they need to ask that scout to, while they're a scout, get the experience of being a senior patrol leader, the SPL of the troop. That's a critical experience that they need to have. That is a wonderful way for them to get that experience, plus after that experience becoming the assistant, what they call a junior assistant scoutmaster. That is a great next step. Now, that should not be automatic. It's not like they are at SPL and after their term they become a junior assistant scout. It's only the junior assistant scoutmaster is really for the individuals that have been asked. That's the first part. Then they're recruited and they are mentored and coached towards being an assistant scoutmaster. the junior assistant scoutmaster position is a wonderful place for them to literally get a lot of that experience. Now, I know there's kind of an epidemic going on with Eagle Scouts. When Eagle Scouts, for some reason, they think when they get the Eagle, that's the exit. No, it's time to give back. The troops spent a lot of time, a lot of effort towards that individual achieving that goal, that lofty goal of being an Eagle Scout. Once they are an inspiration. They need to give back to the unit a little bit of service. And this would be a great thing, a great opportunity for them to jump into the junior assistant scoutmaster if that's what they want to do in the future. Now, there is always individual scouts that have a natural leadership ability. They have that charisma that people want to follow. And that is one of those great natural things that most of the Scoutmaster team can actually identify scouts that are like that. And that is critical to have someone like that be recruited into being eventually an adult assistant scoutmaster. You want to kind of get that gradual process moving along. Now, before we go any further, I do want to invite you to our monthly meeting. It's on the first Sunday of each month, and it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you're more than welcome to join us and ask questions and just have fun. You know, that's one of those wonderful things about that meeting. I also want to thank everybody on Patreon for their continued support of our channel. And our channel members. You can be a channel member. You hit the join button and join up. There's all kinds of badges and emojis and different things. They even get the videos exclusively for themselves, ad-free, which is an added bonus. And then, of course, if you don't want to join in and do a monthly donation, you could always do a one-time donation by hitting the thanks button. So get involved. I really do appreciate all that you do in scouting and here on the channel. The next big step is follow-through. This is critical for the scouts' benefit and the troops' benefit. So making sure that the process is done is incredibly important. By the time the scout becomes 17, it's important to have them already selected and committed and make them a junior assistant scoutmaster, a JAS, J-A-S. Now they need at least 2 assistant scoutmasters to do the mentoring and coaching as a JSM. Now I know that's a lot of extra work, but if you split it up between 2 adults working together, then they can actually help this youth really start to learn some of the stuff behind the actual assistant scoutmaster role, and that's very important. Now, 6 months before the scout's 18th birthday, it's important that they set up an account, an individual account on myscouting.org and have all that stuff set up so that when they do become an adult leader, it's there. And they can even do the youth protection training online. That they can do in their name. So that is something that needs to be set up 6 months before. You want to make sure that all of these things are in place so that there is no hiccup as far as their membership. Now, 2 weeks before their 18th birthday, they need to fill out the application, the adult application, and make sure that their certificate is with it. You got to do it 2 weeks ahead of time so that the signatures can get done and the processing can get done and all that stuff. It's okay if there's a lapse, okay, because the youth membership ends on their birthday, the adult one can go on. You can have a gap in between. That's fine. It's not good for the youth to do that while they're a youth, because they have advancement, and that messes up that timing in their advancement. With adults, there's none of these, trying to get merit badges by 18. They don't have any of that. So it is okay to be a gap in between. But we don't want that to go on for too long. We want the scout has a commitment. We want to make sure they can fulfill that commitment. And it may take time to get the application rolling. Okay? You wouldn't submit it until after the 18th birthday. That's the thing. You need to get that process rolling. Now, in regards to membership fees, there are different fees for the adults versus the youth. Typically, the youth have most of the insurance, most of the apparatus is there for them. Whereas the adult leadership, it's not as intense. Therefore, it doesn't cost as much. So typically, it's a little bit lower in price as far as membership fees. But if you have a youth that is going along and they've actually, they're a youth, and in the middle of the summer, there's their 18th birthday. Well, they've paid for the whole year, okay, from whatever time they signed up. That's the year, okay. So if they in the middle of the summer they changed and become 18, they can still use that youth membership. Okay, that membership fee is good until that expires. To renew that, of course, would be as an adult after 18. So there isn't a issue as far as that's concerned. Now, some units will actually set it up so that there's fundraisers and stuff that will actually help pay the fees for the adults, whether it be taking the adults to camp or paying for their membership or what have you. So there are units that do that. There are many units that have outreach programs within the unit. So sizable units might have funding that's been reserved through the treasurer of the unit that's being reserved to help subsidize or help pay for some of the things for needy scouts. This is also true for scout leaders. It's important that we pay it forward, not only in leadership, but in money. So that's one of the things about membership. And we do pay it forward. We do a lot of stuff for our scouts. But there's one thing that we keep dropping the ball on, and that is letting go of these incredible leaders. We need to hone that as an adult leader so that they can actually focus it better. Put what they've been taught into action. That is so critical. And we do those kinds of things in scouting. So we help youth achieve more than they ever thought they could. And that's one of those wonderful things in scouting. And I'm so grateful that you're a part of it. So keep up that good, hard work. Keep learning about all the different facets of scouting. There's so many. So definitely look into a lot of the stuff, especially on this channel. We got a lot of videos. Definitely check it all out. And I am so grateful for you and what you do for scouting. I am so proud of you. Keep up that good hard work, and I hope to see you on the trail.